Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Worthy of It All. My name is Tyra. I am so glad to be back with you all on today. I hope that everyone had a good weekend, that life has been good, that if you have had a chance to watch the videos, the last videos, the prayer, that there was something in there that inspired you, that there was something in there that you meditated on so that we can all be better, so that we can all know that God has created us and that He has counted us worthy, and it matters not what other people say. It matters not what other people say about us. If God is for us, who can be against us? And He is more than the world against us. If no one else is on our side but the Lord, that is enough. But He has created us to be in fellowship with one another, and He has created us to um, to be partakers of the promises that He has given us, and they are exceedingly great promises as outlined in First Peter. And so one of the promises and one of the things that we are deserving of is divine relationships. We are, in the last video, we talked about being deserving of your desires. What is that thing that you desire? You can have it, and you don't have to settle for anything less. But we want you to know that whatever your desire is in life, as long as you are not asking or trying to obtain it out of your own lusts, God says that you can have it. And oftentimes we don't have it because what did He say? We didn't even ask for it. We have not because we ask not. And so there are many things in this life that we can have, and the Lord will delight in giving us those good things when we make Him number one in our life. And even if we aren't number one in our life, even if He is not number one in our life, there are many people that have put the principles of the Bible to practice, faith, and just going after what they want and just being diligent. And guess what? God's word does not lie. It's no respecter of persons. He's no respecter of persons. So when we see someone who has reached a status or acquired some things that we're wishing that we had or we desire to have, it's because they put forth effort to get those things, and they pushed, and they did not allow anyone to tell them otherwise. And so this is where we want to be in life. And so God desires for us to know that we can obtain those things. He desires us to have certain things in life, and we can get those things. So one of the things that He put in place is relationships, whether it is marriage, or whether it is family, whether it is friends. He wants us to have divine relationships. So today we are going to talk about just that, divine relationships. We are going to say the difference between toxic and healthy relationships. And we are going to also give some pointers of what relationships looks like, what you should desire in your relationships so that they can be healthy. In the last video, we defined what self-worth is. And so that is the topic of this whole broadcast, worthy of it all. And so we have to know that we are worthy. And self-worth is defined, and it's interesting, in a psychology definition that I'm going to read. It says self-worth is an individual's evaluation of himself or herself as valuable, a capable human being deserving of respect and consideration. Let's think about that. Let's think about that. An individual's evaluation of himself or herself How do you value yourself? How do you value yourself? You should value yourself as valuable. You should value yourself as a capable human being, deserving of respect and consideration. If we just get that, there's a whole lot of things that we would not put up with. A lot of things. So we're going to talk about that. And so in the last session, we also spoke about those things that diminish our self-worth. And one of those things, which we are going to speak further about today, is allowing others to treat you badly. That is one thing that will diminish how you value yourself when you let other people disrespect you and when they don't even take your feelings into consideration. And so that, jumping ahead, that denotes, that's a red flag for you. If no one is respectful of you, if a person in your life is disrespectful to you, you have a right to get out of that relationship, because you, even if they don't consider yourself valuable, even if they do not consider that you are worthy of respect, you must know for yourself that you are valuable. You are a capable human being, deserving of respect and consideration. So here we go in relationships, how we determine if a relationship is healthy or toxic. So one thing is there should be some mutual benefits, some exchange, some connections. First of all, the word relationship is defined as a state of being connected. Who are you connected to? A lot of times we are connected to people who, in my instance, for example, all of my friends, my very close friends, they approached me first. Why? Because I was the type of person that I was friendly, but I was not the one that would initiate friendship. So my very close friends that I have to this day, they were more aggressive, and even today, I talk more than I did back then, but they are very bold. They're very vocal, all of my friends, and so we balance out. So they talk, and I'm more talkative. Back then I wasn't, but they approached me, and so down through the years we have developed a relationship and a friendship where we are mutually respectful toward each other. Even if we have disagreements, we can agree to disagree. This one particular friend, I got out of sorts, and I couldn't even believe it was me that was speaking to her in that manner. But guess what? After the dust settled, we remained friends. We talked it over. I apologized for my behavior, and I had to ask God, like, where did that come from? Because I didn't even know that type of behavior was in me, like, in her face type of thing. And it was a trigger that had not been addressed. And we're not going to talk about triggers and things of that nature, but just the point is that we are still friends today. She does not bring that situation up. She does not bring that situation up. And so that is another sign of connection. When you know someone, she knew that was not my character. After all the years that we have been friends, she knew that it had to be something deeper, and she did not hold that one incident against me and remove her friendship and treat me any different. And so friendships, connections, you have to have a mutual benefit. There has to be some sort of exchange in every relationship. Healthy relationships, they involve honesty and trust, respect, open communication has to be between the parties, no matter what relationship it is. Friendship, whether it be romantically, even in our families, a lot of times we may not be able to have healthy discussions with our family members, and so we have to just really tread lightly, unfortunately, and just continue to pray for God to open up situations and change circumstances in the hearts of our loved ones, um, that they could receive. And it could be something that they are dealing with, or something that they never were able to communicate well with people. And so we have, as Christians, we have to give people grace in that area. And so some people we can't have a conversation with. We may not be able to have a conversation with until there is some healing that takes place. But healthy relationships require open communication and trust and honesty. But they take effort, right? They take effort. We cannot go into a relationship closed-minded about I'm always right. So that is a sign. If someone is not allowing you to speak, if they're always talking over you, if they do not want you to say anything, they just only want to have a one-sided relationship, that's not healthy. And so again, healthy relationship is if you point those things out to a person, and you say, you never let me talk. You're not even listening to what I'm saying. That may be what they do to everyone. But if they are really valuing you as their friend and that relationship, they will take a pause back. They will hear what you say, and they will make those necessary changes so that they won't do that. They will work hard, and that comes with maturing. So we have to mature in relationships also. Um, so healthy relationships is where everyone is doing their part to keep things happy, respectful, supportive, and fair. In healthy relationships, everyone is involved and shares the power and responsibility instead of just trying to keep everything one-sided to themselves. So those are signs of healthy relationships. Okay? In a in healthy relationships, I'll just give you a few pointers of what we do, and I've already gone over some of those things. But in healthy relationships, we can communicate, we can be open, we can be honest with our friends, with our partners, whatever type of relationship we are in, we can openly communicate our feelings. And if that person, like I said before, they're not willing to do it, or they haven't done it before, but they're willing to do it, then that means that there's growth. They are considerate of your feelings. On the other hand, if someone is just all about them, they don't want to hear it, it's their way or no way, then that would be a sign of a toxic relationship, because it's not going to go anywhere. Both parties have to be able and be willing to communicate with one another. Another thing is we respect each other's boundaries. We want to, if there's somewhere that I want to go without you, we don't have to be up in each other's face all the time. I'm talking about whatever friend it is, whatever type of relationship it is. If you always feel like you can come into my space, you can come over whenever you want to, because, we got it like that. No, I might not be home, and you need to call first. So there has to be some boundaries set in place. We have to be respectful of each other's time and in each other's space. And so boundaries is key. I never thought about boundaries until I got into the ministry that I am currently a part of, and we spoke about that. And it's just like, yeah, we need boundaries. We need to set up things, and even biblically, boundaries is biblical, because God set a boundary for the water. It says that even the water does not go beyond the place where he set it, beyond that boundary in which he set. And so a lot of times, we get in church and we hear these words and we might think, well, that does not apply but it does. So boundaries, God set boundaries in order when he set even the bounds of where you live. The scripture talks about that God even set the place where we live, and so that we might seek him. So wherever you live, God has put you in that place, and that's the boundary where He has you to be a light in dark places, or to even usher in His kingdom into that place in your neighborhood. And so everything that God does, of course, is intentional, but we want to know His heart for our life, our lives. We want to know His heart for our relationships, and if He is not disrespecting us, no one should be disrespecting us. And we have a right to say no. We have a right to walk away, and it will be for our benefit if we do. It may not be abusive. Of course, that is very toxic. Abuse, verbal, physical, any type of emotional abuse, of course, is not a healthy relationship, very toxic. And if the person is not willing to change and that's it for them, then my brother, my sister, it is in your best interest and healthy for you to walk away from toxic relationships. So we also want to be each other's person. We each get to be our own person. Excuse me. We each get to be our own person. So we can be as unique as God gave us to be in relationships. We don't have to pretend to be anyone else. I didn't have to pretend to be loud and like to dance and go to the club with my friends because she was a party goer. I didn't have to. Now, yeah, I went in there. Did I dance? No. I just went in there, listened to the music, looked around. That wasn't my thing. But she was my friend. And so even though we were opposites, we still had other things in common. I didn't have to go out there and, drink um, and dance because I just didn't. I danced in my seat, but out there, no. But we did not tell each other that she didn't tell me that I had to be like her, and I didn't tell her that she had to be like me in order for us to be friends. We get to be our own unique person. And so there is trust, of course. We trust each other. We feel safe. Do you feel safe with your friends? Are you able to, with your friends or even in relationships, are you able to disclose information, like real safe information that you would not share with anyone? Of course, you don't share everything, bare your soul to people when you first meet them, but as time progresses and your friends have proven that they are your friends, are you able to disclose secrets, sensitive topics, and will you feel safe? And that was with me. I didn't disclose, and I haven't with my friends. Like I have 5 friends, a total of 5 very good friends. And so each one of those friends, they know a different part of me. Not one of them knows everything about me. And it's not that it's not that I don't trust them. I do trust them, but however, I have not disclosed certain things to them. Um, so when things come up, I'll say, yes, I'm gonna disclose this, but it's just as far as us just, sitting around and me saying, you know what, this happened to me. I haven't done that. But when things arise and I feel and I want to disclose, like, yes, this happened to me, and it will help with the relationship or will help with the person in the friendship, I will disclose it. It's not that I don't trust them, because I do. But my point is, I had to work up to that. I didn't feel safe with them at first disclosing the things that I was going through with them. And so I did not. But as time went on and I felt safe, and they proved themselves to me, they would disclose things to me. I would keep it. I've always been someone who does not run off at the mouth. And so they were able to trust me with those sensitive topics, and they still are. And so when those situations arose, then I would let them know that that I'm going to disclose this to you. And so when I would disclose something to someone, if I didn't hear about it, that means that I could trust them. I feel safe. And whatever it is, any other topic that I can, that I want to share, I know that I can share it in confidence. So those are signs of healthy relationships. Of course, toxic relationships are just the opposite. So a toxic relationship is one that makes you feel unsupported, misunderstood, demeaned, and or attacked. If you are in a relationship where you don't have any support, where you are misunderstood, no one's trying to understand you, where they're not trying to support you. Every time you ask somebody to do something, it's like no, but when they ask you, you're there. That's not, that's a one-sided relationship. And then if you can never depend on anyone, why why be in the relationship? If I can't depend on you for anything, anytime I ask you, that means that, and then when you verbalize, I have been there for you, and I ask you to do this and you never do it, and whatever the response is, if it's not, I'll try, I didn't realize that, I'm going to make an effort, and they don't, or they just say, you know what, deal with it, then you know that it's time for you to move on if you choose. But this is the great thing, we get to choose. We get to choose, and we are, it's us who allows people to treat us that way. So when people treat us in a poor way, it's because we let them. They cannot treat us poorly if we do not let them. So we want to make sure that we love ourselves first. That's what Christ said. He said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. As you love yourself. When you love yourself, you will not let anyone treat you and mishandle you any type of way. You, guess what? We said earlier, you are a human being deserving of respect and deserving of honor. And you are deserving of just love. How about that? You're deserving of love. And so we all want to feel like someone is supporting us, like someone is there for us. And if we're not getting that in some of our relationships, we may want to reevaluate those things. Okay? Listen, and I want to talk about, last thing I want to talk about is red flags. Red flags, okay? Red flags are there. You ever see stop? What is that? There's a caution sign. So I'll talk about the orange flags. When people come up and you see these orange flags or orange cones, that means caution. Okay, so as we're approaching something, we know that there's something ahead that we have to be aware of. And so we are going to be cautious. We're going to proceed carefully. Okay, so some of those things come up in relationships where we might hear something, we may see something, and we take note of that thing. But red flags are those things that are just stop, like, oh my gosh, like I cannot go any further with this. So I have a friend. We're friends today. I love her dearly. Before she got married, the first time, she was engaged to this gentleman, and they would go different places around her family, around his family, church family. We weren't really friends at this time, but I knew of her, and I knew that she and this young man were dating, but we didn't, we didn't have any like close knit relationship at that time. So she had told me the story afterwards. But she said while they were engaged and they would go to different things, different functions, and people would just always tell him, you are so lucky to have this woman in your life. We love her. She is just good for you, da 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 da. And so she told me that when they were by themselves and after someone would laud her and applaud him for making such a great selection by choosing her, his response to her was, "You ain't all that. Like, what are they talking like that about you for? You are not all that." And when she was telling me, which I already knew, and I'm thinking, like, why in the world did you marry him after he said that? Red flag. If no one is even recognizing your value, if they don't recognize your value, and this is a person that you said you want to marry, are you kidding me? But if had we had been friends during that time, I would have told her, "Ma'am, no, you don't need to marry him, and because if he doesn't think you're all that, then why marry? Why marry?" But we have to think that we're all that. And there's certain things, and there are red flags. Um, Many times before people get married, the red flags are there. And then they get married, and then they come to you and say, "Well, he did this, and he did that, or she did this, and she did that." And so my question is, well, when did that start? Right? When did all this bad behavior start? Oh, it started before we got married. Well, guess what? That was a red flag. And if you couldn't, why did you tolerate it? Why do we settle? Because guess what? If it's not dealt with at the beginning of the marriage and we just let things slide, it's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better because you have to address those things when they happen. And if the person is willing to mature and grow and work on those things, then yeah, we can work on them, right? But if they're just like, if you haven't said anything and they feel like, "Oh, well, you didn't say anything about it then, so what's the problem now?" But we have to address things. If we're not going to, and ladies, we think some things are just so cute, but it's not. It's not cute because we feel like, oh, they'll change, but no, we have to test and see if they're going to change by bringing some things to the table and saying, you said this the other day, and what did you mean about it? Or I didn't like it, or just addressing some things, confronting some things prior to getting into um, a marriage or even an engagement. So we get to choose. Yes, the man chooses us, but we get to choose whether we want to be with him. Okay? We get to choose. We get to choose if we want to be somebody's friend. Like I said, there are so many things to look for in a relationship. And I'm just going to list a couple things, talk about a couple things. What should I look for in a relationship? Because relationship requires respect, as we already talked about, trust and open communication. Okay, so whether you're looking to be in a relationship romantically or a friendship, here are some things that you need to look for in to have a healthy relationship. Of course, treat you with respect. Does the person treat you with respect? Do they make fun of the things that you like or want to do? What if I want to do something? It's okay if my husband doesn't want to do it. But is he just gonna nag me and say, what, call me a punk or something because I don't want to do it? No, that is very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. And so we don't want to, relationships, you don't make fun of people. Yeah, we can have fun and we can just, but don't tear me down because I don't want to do anything. And they put you down. You don't want to be in a relationship where people put you down. Okay? If someone, look for someone who doesn't get angry if you spend time with your family and friends. If you are with a person, or even if you have friends, and friends sometimes are jealous of other friends, but if you have those friends, you have to, again, address these things. And if they're not going to change, it's only going to get worse. So if you cannot go anywhere and be with your friends, other friends, or with your family without this person getting all bent out of shape and only wanting them to yourself, that's not cute. That's not a sign that, oh, she loves me. And no, ma'am, no, sir. That is a sign, that is a red flag, okay? Because it's only going to get worse. Watch out for red flags. Do not dismiss red flags. You'll be happy in the end. Look for someone who shares your interests: movies, sports, reading, common goals, commonality. It's always good to have that in your life. Look for someone who isn't afraid to share their thoughts or their feelings. Now, people are not going to do that, like I said, right away. I did not do that right away. And so, but I learned to do that after I felt comfortable with my friends. After, we just didn't be friends one day. This has been longevity. My 5 friends have been longevity friends. My best friend, we have been friends since the sixth grade. And so we still communicate to this day. We don't talk every day. We don't even talk, probably not even once a year. But when we do, it's just like we just pick up from where we left off. And so, let me say that. Let me say my best girlfriend, because my best friend is my husband. Okay, let me clear that up. Look for people who are caring and honest. And look for people who don't pressure you to do things that you do not want to do. Look for people who encourages you and build you up in the things that you want to do, in work, in school, in projects, in assignment, in whatever you want to do, unless it is just clearly like, something that will be harmful to your health. But look for people to encourage you. Even if they don't see that right away. If my husband says, I want to, let me think of something. I want to start building a boat. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you can build a boat. Have you thought about the blueprint? Have you thought about the wood to make it? Have you thought about some things first? But I'm not going to be like, yeah, go ahead and build that boat, when I know he has no boating, architectural, even design skills. Like, who's going to help you? Okay, I'm going to encourage him, but I'm also going to ask some questions. I'm just not going to be like, man, come on now. Are you serious? Like, you cannot build a boat because X, Y, and Z. But if I encourage him, but you want to encourage and you want to ask questions, and don't just shut people down, because he may have a plan. He may have something that I don't know about. The Lord may have given him, the dimensions like he gave Noah. I don't know, but I will find out. Okay, so we want to encourage people. We want to look for someone, ladies and gentlemen, who are not always cheating on us and who are unfaithful. We want to stay away from those people. We want to get into the background of people. We want to ask questions when we meet people to see how they have how their past relationships have been, how they relate to other people, if they're loners. Now, I was a loner. At first I was, but it was because I just faced so much rejection when I was little, when I was a young person, all the way through high school. So that's why I was a loner, and I didn't talk to anybody. I was so shy. If someone asked me something, I would say yes, I would say no. I would not elaborate. And that was that. But like I said, the people who are my friends to this day, it was because they were more open. They were more outgoing. They were more aggressive in areas, and they approached me. My friends since the sixth grade now, we were friends because we did that by default. We were we were the only people of color in our school. And so we were glad to see each other when we came to the sixth grade. And so that's how we became friends. Other than that, my other friends approached me, as I said before. So we want to recognize, I would like you all to recognize and evaluate your friends, your relationships that you're in. Are they healthy? Are they toxic? Can the healthy ones, can the toxic ones not be so toxic? Because if they're toxic, they're toxic. But what are the people who are exhibiting toxicity? Can they, or do they want to change? Because people can change. They just need to understand where they are, what you are requesting of them, and how you feel about a situation. And even in toxic situations, if they are willing to change. But if they are just, even on you, they don't want to hear what you have to say. And so those are ones that you may want to consider departing from. So we want to recognize the red flags. We do not want to dismiss those things, and we want you to know that you are deserving of divine relationships. You are deserving of divine relationships. So I pray that you all had. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Evaluate your friends, evaluate your friendships, evaluate even engagements. What you are looking for in a person. List those things. And if a person doesn't have the qualities that you are looking for, don't try to create anything. Don't try to say, well, I'm going to take that one off the list. No, if it's important to you to write down the first time, stick with those things. Okay, stick with those things. God is faithful. He knows what you need. He knows what you want. Don't settle. So God, we just thank you for this time of sharing. We thank you, Father, that your heart is for your people, that your heart is for them to live this life in divine relationships, that your will for them, Father, is for them to know who they are in you, how special they are to you, and that you want them to have the good things in life, the best things in life, that we can have it all, that we can have it all, that we are worthy of it all. So, Father, I just thank you that there will be even signs if someone is in a toxic relationship, that this broadcast, Father, would bring light to the situation, that they can give them the strength that they need to walk away and know that they are human beings and they are worthy and deserving of respect, and they are deserving of honor. They are deserving of love. Not surface love, but deep love, the kind of love that people will die for us, like you have done in the person of Jesus. You died for us. And so, Father, even as Christ loved the church, let the men, the husbands, the husbands to be, let them know that is what you have required of them, that husbands should love their wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. So if they are not willing to give of themselves, if they are not willing to disclose what they have, Father, let this be a sign. Hallelujah. And so we are just grateful for what you are doing on this broadcast. We thank you for each and every person that has watched. We thank you for each and every person who has subscribed. And Father, we know that because you are behind it, that it is by design that you have me here, that it is by design that this broadcast is going forth, and that it will be a blessing to the masses in Jesus' name. So God bless you all. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. If you have, thank you so very much. If you have not shared these teachings, go ahead, feel free to share them. I appreciate those who have shared the broadcast. And so we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care and God bless.